I'm Larry Robinson. This is my great-grandson, John Allen Brewer. We're going to make a movie tonight about jokes, funny jokes. Ha ha! The kind that'll you'll be laughing 2 weeks after you see them. They're so funny. Um, why did the chicken cross the playground? Is the first one. Now think about it for a while. I'll give you a chance. I'm not impatient.
Why?
The chicken crossed the. Thank you. The chicken crossed the playground to get to the other slide. Get it? Not side, but slide. Do you have any to share about maybe the one about the Ferrari?
You want to tell him that?
You don't want to tell them that?
No, I think I'm good. You want to tell him?
Well, this is very interesting. We live on a cul-de-sac on the west side of Columbus, Ohio, and our next door neighbor has a son who lives with her, a grown son. He's 25, 26 years old, and he hasn't worked for over a year. But he came home in a brand new red Ferrari last week. And his mother said, "Where did you get that Ferrari, and how much did it cost?" He said, "Well, I got it from Mrs. Miller down the street at the end of the cul-de-sac, and it cost $15." And his mother said, "$15? How'd you get a car so cheap? Like that's a $400,000 car." And Rufus said, that was his name. Rufus said, well, I just got it from Mrs. Miller." So his mother said, "Well, I'm going down to Mrs. Miller's house and find out about this. I'm going to get to the bottom of it." So his mother goes down and talks to Mrs. Miller, and Mrs. Miller, and she asked Mrs. Miller, "How could you sell that car for $15?" And Mrs. Miller said, "Well, if you sit down for a minute, I'll tell you." So they sat down. She said, "My husband went out of town on business last week, and last night he called me and said that he was in Hawaii and that he had taken his secretary with him and that he wanted a divorce and that he was broke. And would I please sell his car and send him the money?" So I did. Get it? The wife sold the car for $15. The wife didn't like her husband too much.
Hey Larry, I have a question. You remember our old YouTube channel when we did politics and jokes?
Yes.
Should we do it this time?
Politics jokes? I don't know any politics jokes.
No, just politics.
I have a shirt on that's sort of political. Buck Biden, but that's neither here nor there. We won't get into that because we should keep this non-political.
So don't go out in the garage.
Okay.
That was his wife.
The
Special guest.
There's a guy. Our friend was going down the road the other day, and his wife was with him, and he was in a car, and he was pulled over by the state troopers for speeding. And the officer said, "Sir, I'm going to have to give you a ticket." And he said, "All right." So he gives him a ticket and writes it out, and then he says, his wife said, "Officer, I always tell him to drive slowly. He drives way too fast. It's dangerous." And the officer said, "Sir, I notice you also don't have your seatbelt on. I'm going to have to ticket you for no seatbelt." So his wife says, "Officers, I'm constantly telling him to put his seatbelt on every time we get into the car, but he won't ever listen to me." About this time, her husband looks at his wife and says, "You B
word
rhymes with which? I'm telling you what. You better shut your effing mouth, or I'm going to kick your A." And I won't say the words, but you know what I mean. And the officer says, "Ma'am, does he talk to you that way often?" And she said, "No, just when he's drinking." She got him in big trouble. Big trouble. When I was little, I remember that I told my daddy one day, I said, "Daddy, I just feel like I'm going around in circles with my life, just going around in circles." And he said, "Well, If you stand still, I'll nail your other foot to the floor. You're not laughing, John.
That was funny. Well, didn't you just buy a new phone?
Yes, I did.
Okay, look, the brand new phone. I knew someone that had a phone just like this.
Yeah?
And it slammed into his face. And he said to me, after that happened, it was just a big old hit in the face.
Big old hit in the face. Well, that was a slam in the face, huh?
Yep.
Slap in the face. Slap in the face.
Let's tell him about the helicopter joke.
Well, this Morris and Esther were a couple that loved to go to the Ohio State Fair every year. And Morris loved to wanted to ride on the helicopter. But his wife, Esther, said, you can't do that, Morris. It costs $50 to ride on that helicopter, and $50 is $50. So they did this year after year after year, and finally when they became 85 years old, Morris looked at Esther and said, Esther, we better be doing this before long, or else we may not have another chance. And Esther looked at Morris and said, Morris, I told you it costs $50, and $50 is $50. About this time, the pilot of the helicopter overheard them talking and said, I'll tell you what I'll do, folks. I'll let you ride on my helicopter for free, if you promise not to say one word during the whole trip. And they looked at each other and they nodded their head in agreement that they could do it. So they got on there to do it, and by God, they got on board. And this pilot did all kind of whirligigs and dipsy doodles and fancy maneuvers and all kind of crazy stunts in the air. And as he was getting ready to land, he hollered back at the folks and said, Morris and Esther, you did quite well. Quite well. I'm proud of you. You didn't say one word the whole trip. And Morris said, well, sir, I almost said something when Esther fell out, but $50 is $50. Okay.
Well, I think that's the end of the video, don't you think?
Is that the end of the video? I got one more joke. One more joke. If I can tell it.
Okay.
Okay. Why did the Scarecrow get a promotion?
Why?
Because he was out standing in his field.
Well, that's the end of the video. You want to say anything to them, Larry?
I don't know. You want to say anything else?
No.
Okay, that's a pretty good video, I think.
Yeah.
I think it made some people laugh, and they'll be laughing for a long time. Oh, when I was little, my daddy, I wanted to go ice skating on the pond. So I said, Daddy, can I go ice skating on the pond? And my daddy was mean. He said, well, let's wait for the weather to get warmer.
Your dad isn't that mean.
No, he was a very nice man. He was not really
That
mean.
was a joke.
That was a joke. Let the weather get warmer so I would fall through the ice and go into and drown and kill myself. No, he wouldn't do that.
No. Here's a nice man. Have you seen have you been to the motorcycle, him riding on the motorcycle?
Yeah, I haven't seen I've got that on video. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Huh.
Well,
did I send that to you or
yeah,
what?
you did send that to me.
Huh.
Well, check it out, and you might be able to find out that his dad was an amazing person. I didn't get to meet him, but
Yes, he was.
Nice.
Stanley J. Robinson. So was my mother. She was an amazing person too.
Well,
I was blessed. So I hope you enjoyed the movies tonight. I hope that you'll stay tuned because we have thousands of more jokes to tell. It's just a matter of the time. So it's time to go to bed now, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.